Hello, everybody, and welcome to the November 14th edition of the Go With The Flow podcast. Nick Phillips, joined as always by my line mates Kevin Bartman
What's going on, boys?
and Dan Maratz.
What's up, fellas? How's everybody doing?
Doing excellent. Do a little bit of hockey gambling every once in a while, and I think some of the boys like to, wet the beak a little bit, and we're going to talk about the Hockey Hall of Fame, but we just had to cover the miraculous over that took place in Raleigh, North Carolina tonight to start, or last night, I guess, the 13th. So over 5.5 at plus odds, and Jeff Skinner throws one at the net, hits over 5.5, 5-1 Canes win, hits the over with 2 seconds and change, I believe, left in the third period. Absolutely miraculous. So in his podcast, and also excited because a couple childhood favorites of mine have been elected into the Hockey Hall of Fame. So a total of 7 guys were elected into the 2017 class. Obviously, the headliners here are former teammates Teemu Selanne and Paul Kariya, who were teammates in, and sometimes people forget, Colorado for that 1 year where they tried to go for the cup and it was kind of a flop. But also Dave Andreychuk and Mark Recchi, who in our younger years, for the three of us, saw Andreychuk win in his last year with Tampa in 04 right before the lockout, and Recchi kind of being the elder statesman or the elder skatesman on the 2011 Boston team, and also women's ice hockey player Danielle Gwtf. She was, Canadian player. The Bruins owner Jeremy Jacobs, as well as Claire Drake, very renowned college hockey coach, all were elected. But obviously the headliners are the NHL guys. So I think if we just jump right into it, any guys you want to talk about first, just fond memories, appreciation for some of these guys. Obviously Recchi and Selanne played into their 40s and did so productively. Kariya obviously had the concussion issues in his career, which is not surprising if you've ever seen the hit that Scott Stevens laid on him in Game 6 of the 2003 Cup Final. But, boys, floor is yours.
Yeah, I'm happy to see Kariya and Selanne, especially. I've always liked those two guys. And you kind of just hinted at the Scott Stevens hit. I think a word that comes to mind with Kariya is, at least in that instance, is resiliency. Just gets his bell absolutely wrong. Guy's dead on the ice. In today's NHL, he wouldn't have come back into the game, and he ends up getting the game winner to force a Game 7, I believe. They did lose that, obviously, but still, that's pretty ridiculous to just get absolutely killed like that and then come back like nothing's wrong and get a GWG. And then Selanne, I mean, it's kind of hard. It's like, where do you start with him? The guy was, 43, 44, I think, when he retired. And he's had just tremendous milestone after milestone after milestone in his career. I think when you think of Selanne, obviously you think of the Ducks in 07. And I think of him on the Jets when he was super young and he did the shoot the duck celebration. So, I mean, the guy's a hell of a hockey player. I'm glad to see both of them. And the two elder skatesmen, as you said, as well. It's nice to see them get their cups in their final years, kind of like Kimmo Timonen did in 2015. So congrats to all of them. I mean, that's pretty, pretty remarkable. It separates the good players from the great players, the Hall of Fame. So, congrats to them for making it.
Yeah, the one thing I was going to say is that Paul Kariya is kind of the first big hockey player that I, started to follow. I remember, I don't know if you guys played NHL Hits 2002. When I was younger, that was by far one of my favorite video games to play. And me and my buddy, he'd be the Avalanche, and that was Forsberg, Sakic, Rob Blake, and Patrick Waugh. And then he'd be the Avs, and I'd always be Paul Kariya on the Ducks, and just playing with him. And I'm like, damn, this guy's pretty fucking awesome. So that's when I really started to start hockey, and then started to grow so fond of it. So, and then following him in his whole career and just, seeing continue to be great. And then, we saw that unfortunate hit, but, just to see greatness as it happened was pretty damn cool. So it's cool to finally see it to the end and see him make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think no, my fondest memory, just growing up watching, as a Blackhawks fan, a lot of times the games weren't on TV because, Bill Wirtz, would black out the home games on TV in an effort to try to get the guys to go to the rink. So a lot of the hockey I watched growing up, obviously as a Blackhawks fan, I watched the road games, but it was those primetime, ESPN games whenever they would have it, during the week or in the playoffs. And I still get chills whenever I watch, the Stanley Cup highlights between New Jersey and Anaheim and Gary Thorne. He's the Scott Stevens, he cuts across, Korea makes a pass, like 2.5 seconds later, Scott Stevens just kind of blindsides him, hit to the head. It'd be like, a 20-game suspension if that happened right now. And like Dan said, the guy has no chance of re-entering the game. He's clearly concussed, and, you want to, it's just totally messed up. It's just like you just sit there and you shake your head like, I can't believe this guy was allowed to come in the game. But I guess they didn't really know what we know today. But he comes in, just that unbelievable Gary Thorne call when he comes in and just, snips Brodeur with a clapper from the left wing, and it's just off the floor, on the board, Paul Kariya. Just gives me like the biggest chills, because that was just absolutely sick. To come back in after that, just to have the fucking balls to come back in. I remember when he came out of the dressing room, they just showed this clip of Scott Stevens on the bench, just kind of just had this like totally dead ass stare, was just like so fierce, and then just like spit on the ice, like, okay, like I'm just gonna like run you again or some shit. Like totally unbelievable. But I think the Selanne thing is the longevity and how productive he played long in his career. Because I mean, you see Yager, a guy like Yager still going, but Selanne was pretty much a threat till the end, I'd say. Like definitely more so than Yager, who's kind of just almost laboring out there right now. And I don't think either of you guys had mentioned it, but it was a little before our time. But Selanne's rookie year in 92-93, Kevin and I were kind of talking about it off air. It's probably one of these unbreakable records. He potted 76 goals in his rookie year at Winnipeg, and obviously the celebration where he threw the glove up in the air and he machine gunned it way down like it was a duck. And also had 56 apples that year, so that was good for an 132-point rookie campaign for Selanne with Winnipeg. And obviously, he another guy who played a long time. It's kind of like the theme with this class. I mean, obviously, Korea didn't get the cup, but Andrew Chuck won the cup his last year. Recchi won 3. He won one with Carolina and the one with Boston at the end. So he went out a winner. Andrew Chuck went out a winner, and then Selanne played, I want to say about 14, 15 years, because he started in 1993 and they won in 07 in 7 against Ottawa. So Selanne was much a magician, just an unbelievable guy, and Korea was so damn good. But it just kind of sucks that we got robbed. You got so many concussions. We got robbed of seeing, an even more decorated career, but a guy that was great. And also on that 2002 Canadian men's team that was just absolutely stacked, if you guys remember that roster, with just oodles of talent. So to make that roster too just showed how great he was. So all in all, an awesome class. And Andrew Chuck was a good forward too, with some good Buffalo teams back in the day. So it's a hell of a class, boys.
Yeah. The thing, like, if I were to make a comparison as a baseball fan as well, I would kind of compare Paul Kariya to Ken Griffey Jr., because it's one of those things where, they were injured so much, and it's just the biggest what if, like what could have happened had they stayed healthy.
Same with Lindros. I feel like Eric Lindros is definitely one of those guys.
Oh, for sure, Lindros, yeah.
I mean, there's so many guys in a sport like this. I mean, you've got you could even say Bobby Orr, right? Like what Bobby Orr and Korea, Lindros. I mean, just so many guys.
Lemieux. There's a ton. And it's interesting to note that Lindros also got his shit pushed in by Scott Stevens with a hit that also probably would have been a 20 or so game suspension. And Lindros is not a little guy like Korea is. I don't know.
Yeah, he's a freight train.
I don't know if the folks listening have seen that hit. I think as violent as Korea's hit was, or Stevens hit on Korea, which it was a devastating hit. The one on Lindros is just like jaw dropping because, I mean, Lindros was what, like maybe 6'3", 6'4", something like that, and Stevens
is a big dude.
Yeah, they're
like,
both.
Lindros was a huge dude.
That's what I mean. They're both just huge dudes coming together, and it wasn't like they just kind of bounced off each other. Lindros got fucking murdered.
Yeah.
So Stevens on the side, actually, we were talking about how you liked watching Korea. I really like watching Stevens, and it was because of those freaking open ice hits. The dude just, oh my gosh, just absolutely killed players left and right. So yeah, it is interesting. Like all those guys that we just mentioned, those big what ifs, and they were still able to, produce the numbers that they did, and a lot of them are still, in the Hall of Fame. Like Korea, it will be now, and like I said, Lemieux was another one. Now his was cancer and stuff, but he was also injured a few times too, I think. But it really is, Kevin, like you said, it's a big what if. It's a little unfortunate.
Recky's got an interesting career path too, because he kind of, if you go through his like hockey DB or anything, like he kind of bounced around and he had, he filled the stat sheet. I think he had like 3 50+ goal seasons or something close to that, early on in his career. But I mean, he spent time with quite a few different teams, but I think he wound up with, 3 cups and was just a solid player for a long time. And when you're that solid for a long time, you're going to rack up points.
Yeah, you're right. Looking at his hockey DB, he did bounce around quite a bit. Fucking, yeah, Jesus Christ. All right, we should pause here. We have nothing to talk about.
Jeez.
Time,
yeah. Time is at 11 minutes, 56 seconds.
Hey, did you write anything down? Right? Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have anything else like written down that we should hit?
About the Hall of Famers? I don't personally.
Or no, just about, that, but like another topic.
Well, I just have the Hawks struggles written down. I just don't know how to segue from
Let's go
Hall
Jersey.
of Famers to.
How about we do like, just be like going back to.
Yeah, we can talk about the jerseys, and that can kind of like lead to a discussion just about like shitty.
Someone tie in this. I just talked last. Someone tie in Scott Stevens and be like, we were just talking about Scott Stevens, and obviously he was with the Devils for a long time. Like, have you guys seen what they've been doing? Someone just like do a smooth transition.
Okay. What was the last? Oh, you were talking about the hockey DB.
Yeah, I'm just gonna edit out that part I said. I was honestly just trying to shoot something out.
No, I know. Yeah. I don't know how to segue it, Nick. I don't even remember what you were saying.
I said,
it could be like, he had spent a big chunk of time with the Devils, and then now looking at the Devils.
No, but you got to start over. So be like, Kevin, you could say, he had quite a few stops, and then maybe say, Kevin, you do it. Go, quite a few stops in his career, and maybe name a couple of the teams or something like, with Toronto and Philly, Pittsburgh, and whatever, and then just say, and Dan, you were just talking about, how much you like Stevens, but it's actually, you played for the Devils for a long time, and the Devils are fun again or something. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, sure.
All right, Dan, give him the time, and then let Kevin go.
Time is 14 minutes, 6 seconds.
And then mute the mic.
Yeah, I know. I don't start talking until I mute myself.
You guys hear me? Okay. All right, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, both of you guys mentioned that all these guys, they jumped around quite a bit throughout their careers. And Dan, speaking of Scott Stevens, he spent a good chunk of years in Washington and New Jersey, and then just looking at these New Jersey Devils nowadays, they're pretty fun to watch. A bit to our dismay too, huh?
Definitely. I'll jump right in here on New Jersey. Surprisingly, their offense is just really good right now. This Miles Wood kid, he absolutely punked the Blackhawks last night. I think he got a hat trick. Am I right on that one, Kevin?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that
first career
guy is
hat
good.
trick.
Total hot take here. Adam Larson's a pretty good, stay-at-home defenseman, but damn, Taylor Hall is a bona fide number one left wing. That guy is just absolutely filthy. He adds a dimension to New Jersey that they haven't had. I would even say not even Kovalchuk doesn't even count. Like he's better than Kovalchuk was for them. So, guy just adds an element that they have not had in a really, really long time. They're sitting right now, number one in the Metro, like up a couple points. Also have a game in hand right now. So, they're just smoking teams right now. They've got a nice goaltending tandem there. I know on this podcast we've raved about Corey Schneider in the past, and Keith Kincaid, or Blockade as they like to call him, is doing a pretty solid job there between the pipes for them, and they're getting some scoring. I mean, you've got Jesper Bratt, Miles Wood, just all these dudes, Nico Hershiser, obviously Taylor Hall, like I said, and some other solid depth forwards. So they've got a decent defense group. Kevin had mentioned Will Butcher kind of contributing maybe a little more than we had expected offensively on the back end. So they've got a decent defense group. They've got an offensive output that's a lot higher than expected, and they're getting the goaltending we all expected. So, Hines has them playing hard every night, so they're tough to play against too. They got a little sand to them. So, Jersey's looking real good. Like I honestly think they're kind of the real deal. I don't think they're going to finish number one in the Metro, but damn, I think they're playoff bound. I think they're going to hang on to this thing. I think they're gonna make it.
Yeah, I agree completely. And especially now they got Boyle back. He adds some tremendous size, experience, and that's, I think, like we were talking about when he first announced that he was coming back, that's a huge locker room and morale boost for them. They're just playing the right way. The Hawks came out flying that first period, and they got a couple bounces with the goals. Can't remember whose goal it was, but it was I forget who our defenseman is that scored. He made it like 3-1. It went off. I think the last two goals, the 3-1 goal and the 4-1.
Rutta, when he slapped it off the boards, then Kane put it in. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Some of those, were kind of lucky bounces. And then once the second period came along, the Devils just looked completely different. Well, the Hawks looked completely different for one, and then they looked like complete shit. But I think the Devils just sort of took over. They stuck to their game plan. And Kincaid just shut the door after that pretty much. I agree, too. I think they're the real deal. I think they are playoff bound. And if you know anything about me, it doesn't really matter what, spot they finish. I think when they went to the Cup final against the Kings, they were kind of a lower seed when they beat the Rangers in Game 7. I could be wrong on that, though. I'm pretty confident that they weren't like a 1 or 2 spot, but they're looking really, really good. And for me, I was just talking to my dad about it last night when they were playing the Hawks. It's actually really refreshing to see them because it's constantly like the Penguins and the Rangers and whatnot, and obviously the Penguins are kind of doing shitty, or Crosby certainly is. It's just really nice to see. It's kind of a fresh thing going on with the Devils doing as well as they are right now. So
yeah, I think one thing I was going to say is they're definitely benefiting from the really poor play of other teams in that division. Like we mentioned this multiple times. We definitely did not expect this type of season so far from the Pittsburgh Penguins, especially the best player in hockey in Sidney Crosby. Folks, I just did air quotes around that. So, but yeah, they're definitely benefiting.
Yeah, you're fucking kidding me.
I'm busting balls here because I don't like Crosby.
No, people will just never learn. Like the guy. They're go ahead. I'm not going to cut you off.
Oh yeah, not a fan of Sidney Crosby, but yeah, to get back to my original point, they're if they don't turn around, then yeah, it might be a little easier than they should have expected.
Washington got out of the gate a little slow, but I think as of late they've started to pick it up a little bit. They've moved into third, and I really like Columbus too. Columbus is a different team now. After the Sod trade, the thing about Columbus was they were kind of a team last year that got awesome goaltending out of Bob, who they leaned heavily on, and Seth Jones and Werenski and Murray is a nice little foundation there on the blue line that they've got going on. But it seemed like they just kind of scored by committee, and they didn't really have any kind of like frontline talent, so to speak. Like a lot of just really solid dudes, like Todd and stuff. But
Cam Atkinson too. He was awesome. Like he was a huge surprise this year.
Yeah, he was really good last year. That's a great point by you. But Panarin's obviously a guy who's shown flashes of being, a number one winger. He left a little bit to be desired in his 2 playoff runs with the Hawks, but that's a guy that maybe that's the difference that they needed in the playoffs. So we'll see. So the Pittsburgh thing though is, interesting. They're sitting there though. They're still hanging around. I mean, as bad as they've played, they're still sitting in fourth and tying points with
really tight. So
points with Washington and Columbus, and Philly and Carolina. Carolina's been a huge disappointment. They were kind of like everyone's darling before the year, and everyone in the world thought they were unique and saying, "Oh, the Hurricanes are a sleeper team. They got Darling. Maybe he'll be a number one goalie, and they've got a lot of young defensemen that are all signed now, and they've got a slew of young forwards, and they're sitting dead last right now." So obviously, I think Carolina's a little bit of a disappointment in that division, but I think Pittsburgh will be okay, and I think Kevin's got more on Crosby later, but
yeah, I'm sure they'll be fine. I just don't want them to be.
Yeah,
I mean, but you know better, and I think everyone knows better that the Blackhawks are probably going to be in the playoffs too. But
God, I hope so.
Yeah,
yeah, they will. It's just a little bit. It's disheartening.
Can't see the light at the end of the tunnel right now.
No, but staying in the East right now, boys. Tampa is just running away with the Atlantic. I mean, my goodness, they are just smoking guys, right? Are smoking teams right now. They have the number 1 and number 2 guys in the NHL right now in points. They've got Stamkos with 31 and Kucherov with 30. Number 3 is Blake Wheeler at 23. Kucherov's got 16 goals his first 18 games. I mean, Tampa, they are looking real good. They're a team that a lot of people were disappointed in last year, somehow missing the playoffs. I mean, obviously, if you're seeing Stamkos' production this year, missing him for a big majority of last year is obviously probably the number 1 reason that they didn't make the playoffs. But now that they have him healthy, they're doing well. And we kind of saw this too. And, Kevin, you had mentioned that in the Metro right now, there's just a lot of teams that aren't, playing to their potential. But it's the same thing in the Atlantic. Tampa's doing really well, but no one's really playing well enough to challenge them. I mean, the next best team right now is Toronto, and we've kind of seen stretches here where if it weren't for Austin Matthews, giving them some pretty solid production here to start. I mean, not quite like the start he had last year, but I mean, obviously still, a really good start for him, God knows where the Leafs would be, but yeah, no one's really challenging them. And Ottawa's kind of hanging around there a little bit. I know they got a couple games in hand, but I mean, we're not even a quarter into the season yet, so it's kind of funny to be looking at games in hand. But, they made the trade that was well documented that we covered at length last week. But, yeah, Tampa's – they're looking good. Cooper's got them fucking rolling.
Yeah, that top line of theirs is, in my opinion, it's by far the most fun, most entertaining line in hockey. That Nemestikov, right, and then Stamkos.
Yes, yeah.
Kucherov.
Nemestikov, I think, is top 20 in the league scoring, and obviously probably riding the coattails of. I mean, not riding the coattails, but just
like
playing with those
you
guys.
Didn't even have to do anything, and they'd still be the highest scoring line.
Yeah, the Anisimov.
Yeah,
Kane.
That's what I was thinking the whole time. But yeah, they're fucking fun to watch.
Yeah, so good.
Especially, like you mentioned too. Like we all expect them to be really good, especially coming off the Stanley Cup loss to who won that Stanley Cup again?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Okay. So yeah, I thought that next year that they were gonna be like fucking, but I thought they were gonna do what they're doing now. Then, so
yeah. And I think a lot of people did. I even remember after the Hawks won that cup, Pierre was interviewing him, and Seabrook was like, the league better watch out because they're going to be doing for the next 6 years what we've been doing for the last 6 years, which is also kind of funny when you think about it because in a way he was like talking about the end of the Hawks, and now they've, had 2 shit playoff runs, and now they're not starting off so well. But yeah, I was expecting them. I thought they were going to beat Pittsburgh. They were up 3-2 against them, and they ended up kind of blowing that, obviously, which opened the door for Crosby. And I fucking hate that he has the same amount of cups as Taves and Kane now. So there's that. But yeah, it's good to see them back. And I've always been a huge Stamkos fan, and I've always gotten kind of upset with him getting hurt. Well, not upset with him, but disappointed that he's gotten hurt the last couple of years and whatnot. So it's good to see him kind of back, and as long as he can stay healthy, they're going to be just absolutely lethal from start to finish this season. And then whoever they play in the playoffs, look out, because if they play like they are right now in the playoffs, they're going to be right back where they should be, which is pretty much Eastern Conference final and potentially in another Cup final. So,
I mean, shit. Tampa. The way a lot of these teams in the East are playing. I mean, you're looking at a lot of the potential wild card teams right now. Is anyone really scared of who any of these wild card matchups could be? I mean, I guess, Tampa's looking like they're going to run away with the number 1 seeds. I mean, they're looking at honestly playing like, I don't really know who they're looking at playing. I mean, they're going to get in. You assume maybe 4 teams from the Metro are going to get in. You're going to get Jersey, Columbus, Washington, and Pittsburgh. So, I mean, who are the 4 going to be in the Atlantic right now? I mean, you've got Toronto, Ottawa, and then Montreal. Is it going to be Boston? I mean, teams with some solid guys, but I feel like Tampa is just going to have a decently easy road in the first round as long as they can stay healthy, which has been their Achilles heel with Stammer. But, yeah, I'm really liking the way they're playing right now. I mean, it's hard not to. They can beat you a lot of different ways. They get a lot of offense out of the back end. They got, good goaltending, and then you can't take a penalty against that team. I mean, they have too many lethal forwards. I mean, you've got fucking Hedman bombing it at the point, and you've got Nemestikov, and you've got a lot of guys, and they're just killing it right now. I can't think of his name right now. I might have to look it up. I'm having a total brain fart. But the D-man that they got in the Drouin trade for them is playing exceptionally well. Does anyone have a name off the top of their head right now?
Sergachev?
Yeah, Sergachev, dude. So good. He is killing it right now. He's, Drouin, had a good season for them last year. Obviously not in a playoff year, but Sergachev adds another element to their defense, just another guy that can score. So, yeah, real good team. And then shifting it to boys, if we want to shift to the West a little bit, go a little talk there. The Pacific, does that division just stink, guys? Does that division just stink? I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it. I mean, it seems like San Jose is just okay. A lot of their core is starting to get a little bit older. Calgary isn't quite playing to expectations. Obviously, Edmonton's not. Anaheim just lost Getzlaf for, I think, 2 months.
2 months, yep.
With the facial fracture. Vancouver's really not that good. Arizona's horrific. Vegas is probably on an unsustainable run, and then you've got LA who's having a resurgent year. LA is doing in the West what Tampa is doing in the East as far as kind of having a rejuvenated season, missing the playoffs last year and coming out of the gates hot. So, yeah, guys, any thoughts on the Pacific? I mean, it just seems like LA. I mean, LA is just gonna. I feel like they're just gonna run away with this thing.
I think it's kind of a combo of the division kind of stinking and also just teams in slumps. I think both you'll agree. I personally don't think Edmonton. I think they'll hit their stride and whatnot. And
I think so too.
Yeah. So I think it's a
Still waiting.
Yeah, I think it's a combo of that, and then I think it is a combo of kind of stinking too, like the Sharks. I think they're kind of done. Like you said, Thornton's getting old. They lost Marlowe, even though he's getting old. Even Little Joe is getting older now.
Classic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yet?
What's
There was
that?
like I think it was like fucking 12 games into the year Brett Burns hasn't scored a goal despite shooting like a fucking ridiculous amount of
every time.
Yeah.
He shoots every chance he can get. It's ridiculous.
Anyways, continue.
No, that no, that was pretty much my point. Is exactly that. It's just kind of mediocrity right now out of San Jose, and I don't really know if they're going to be able to keep up. With like Edmonton and Calgary and the speed that those two teams have. I think Calgary will kind of get their legs under them or whatnot.
I feel like their D is too good to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like their D
and
is
they've got
too
some
good.
solid goaltending. I mean, they got Smith in that who was good for Arizona, and now he's on a team that can actually play defense in front of them. So you got to think at some point they're going to be good too. So yeah, I think it's a combo of both. Like
Yeah,
you were
they're just
saying,
near
it's
bottom of the
average.
league, though. They're near bottom of
Mhm.
the league in goals forward right now, so they're just not. They're just not.
It's okay.
bearing
They're
it.
not as bad as the Hawks.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the Hawks have 9 more goals in them somehow so far this year, so I don't know.
Oh, it's because they had a 10-goal game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Minus
think-
minus
yeah.
that game, we are bottom of the league in goals per game.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm taking a look right now. I've got a little cheat sheet in front of me right now.
That's what I meant.
And
If you take
friend
away
of
that
the-
10-goal game, we're fucking horrible.
Our good friend
team with
Marshall
the-
Chief pointed that out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
the team with the least amount of goals forward right now in the NHL, and I believe they are currently they're last by 2 goals because they have 2 less than Buffalo, who's second worst. The Edmonton Oilers have 38 goals right now through 17
Wow.
games.
That's not good.
That's nuts.
Obviously, Draisaitl missed a little bit of time, but I'm looking at this right now, and I mean, you sit there and you look at the standings, and it's starting to trend the way of the Central might get 5 teams in, the Pacific might only get 3 in the playoffs. I mean, it's because the Central's got St. Louis, Winnipeg, Nashville, the Hawks, and Dallas, and Minnesota. They're not doing great right now. They're in last, but they've only played 16 games. And but I mean, if they kind of hang around where the 4th and 5th Pacific teams are hanging around, when they get Parise back and some other guys back, and they can get healthy, I mean, you can't really rule out Minnesota possibly going on a run if they're able to tread water till some of their guys come back. I mean, it's just looking like the Pacific is just not going to be very well represented. I'm not trying to just poop on the Pacific, but I mean, seriously, that division is just off to a real rough start. So yeah, not ideal for that division. But looking at the Central right now, Nashville's looking solid as always. Winnipeg, another team that was kind of a sexy pick to make the playoffs. They're looking good as well.
St. Louis is killing it right
St.
now.
Louis is absolutely killing it right now.
Mhm.
I think they're second in the league in points right now with 27. So it's them and Tampa at the top. So, yeah, Tarasenko, absolute animal. Guy who doesn't get a lot of pub around the league, doesn't really get his due, but is doing really well, is Jaden Schwartz.
Yep.
He's currently tied for 4th in the league in points right now. I don't know if anyone knew that, but Stamkos, Kucherov, Wheeler, and Schwartz, Phil Kessel, and Johnny Hockey are tied with 22 at the 4th spot. So, Jaden Schwartz is doing real well. But the whole thing with St. Louis is they're always as good as their goaltending is. And that's kind of always the story with them. And, obviously Allen's the number one there. And he's having a decent start to the season, as you can tell by their record. But on the Central, you guys think it's going to be a dogfight? Do you guys think Nashville can kind of fight for that number one spot, or you guys thinking St. Louis is going to? Would you guys predict St. Louis is going to probably hang on to that one spot, and then you're going to have a battle between the Hawks, Stars, Preds, and Jets, to get that 2-3 spot, and avoid the wild card?
Dogfight, and the Central to me is always going to be a dogfight, no matter where teams are at various points in the season. Like we were just talking about, Nick, you said Minnesota. They're kind of, they're not doing well right now, but like you said, if they can just kind of stay around like that wild card spot, they might beat out the Pacific teams. So I think eventually it'll get to be a dogfight for sure. I guess I would say between the Blues and Nashville, I guess, as of right now, that would kind of be my guess. Although, like we just said, Winnipeg, you can't count them out. And it's worth noting, too, that the Blues are doing this without Robbie Fabry, who's been really, really good for them in years past. And he just re-injured his ACL, I believe. And so it's kind of worth noting that one of their main goal scorers is out, and they're still, like you just said, second in the league. So personally, I think it's going to be I don't think anybody's going to run away with the division.
Yeah, from what I've been able to see so far, it just seems like it's going to be it's just a matter of who's going to win the division, either St. Louis or Nashville. Like St. Louis, obviously, they're playing unreal right now. And then with Nashville, we know how good they are. They got even better. So if, it's a big question mark if St. Louis can keep up this level of play for an 82-game season. I personally don't think so. I also don't think that Chicago is going to stink for this long. So it will be a dogfight, yeah.
It's going to be interesting for sure. Dallas obviously having Bishop. He's had injuries be his Achilles heel for a while. And if he can stay healthy, Dallas is a threat with, the talent they have up front. And we covered Nashville, our last discussion with, adding Turris and balancing their lineup with all the center depth they have. And, Rene's always a pretty solid goaltender, and their top four defense that everyone, drools over. So they're good. And Winnipeg's Achilles heel is always the goaltending, because they've got a decent defense group, and then they've got guys that can score. I mean, Blake Wheeler's just filling up the stat sheet this year, and they're just a team that's really tough to play against because they're physical and they're fast and they can score. So, and plus their arena is really fucking hard to play in. So if that arena, that'd be kind of cool to see them get some more home playoff games, because since they've gotten that franchise back up there, up in Manitoba, they've, they only have made the playoffs once, and it was a sweep by Anaheim, but all the games were like kind of close, and they only got the 2 home games. I mean, their Katy Perry chant was kind of fucking stupid, but it was still a pretty ruckus atmosphere. So I think it'd be cool to see Winnipeg get some more home games. But yeah, Wheeler is just killing it right now. Winnipeg's really tough to play against, and I think Minnesota can battle back. I think Colorado's tied with them right now. I think Colorado kind of falls out of it because they're going to probably let some kids play, and they're going to make mistakes, and the rest of the division's real tough. So, and obviously trading Duchesne, I mean, that doesn't help you win necessarily. So, yeah, I think there's 6 teams I think the Central gets 5, and I think there's 6 teams battling. Minnesota's probably got the worst odds of them all because they're injured right now, and they're currently a few points back. But if they can tread water, I mean, who knows what can happen? Because the Hawks aren't necessarily instilling any confidence right now. Pause.
Yeah.
Time.
39 minutes, 39 seconds.
All right. What else? Should we go with what the puck?
Yeah. Where are we at? What time are we at?
It's going to be like 40 minutes now on the dot.
Yeah.
It was 39:39 when we paused.
It's a pretty solid length.
Yeah, it's manageable.
Okay. So what is everybody's what the puck? We should decide who goes. Are you gonna roast the USA jerseys, Dan?
Yeah, I can do that.
Or did you have one that you wanted to do?
I didn't necessarily have one. I could go with that. You had just mentioned the Hawks. Can you hear that?
I'm gonna do what the puck is the Blackhawks defense.
Okay. Can you hear the music?
I'm going
can you
fucking in.
Can you hear the music right now? Okay. I gotta fix that. Be right back. All right. Yeah, I'll do the jerseys then.
Did anything else funny happen? Like any kind of stupid ass plays? You already said.
Shut the fuck up.
No, he said turn it down, you motherfuckers.
Oh.
Is there any games I can live bet right now?
Any hockey games?
Dude, I was gonna put $100 on the fucking Panthers, dude, at 3.5. Now it's 31-14.
Oh wow.
No girls. All right, sorry, Bush.
Some go with the flow puck.
Fucking hockey play. Fucking yeah. Girl from St. Cloud's coming over. Buddy's been on Tinder for like the last million years. Brings a new girl home every other day.
Wait, you need to tell this on the podcast.
Hey, sorry if you can hear music in the background. My slut of a roommate is bringing over Tinder girls.
Oh, yeah. You got to. All right. Dan, you got to. No, that should be your. Wait, we're going to do. No, Dan, you start what the puck, and then you say that, and then just say, just kidding. That's not my what the puck, but I am kind of pissed.
Okay.
That would actually be
Should I do that?
funny. Yes, that'd actually be really funny.
I can definitely do that.
Just give Kevin the time so he's
okay.
privy. All right, here, I'll say we're doing what the puck, and I'll let Dan go first.
Okay. Time is
South Carolina's got first and 10, Miami 18.
42 minutes, 40 seconds.
All right, got it.
Music's gone. I'm still just going to be like, I don't know if you guys can hear the music in the background, but.
All right.
All right, ready?
All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, boys, we had a little bit of a hiatus from our What the Puck segment last week. We had a lot of stuff that we decided to cover on the podcast, but I think we're going to make this a staple of the podcast. I had a real good time with the first time we did it a couple weeks ago with What the Puck. I mean, I was fucking dying at Kevin specifically's Ken Holland, Detroit, Athanasiou rant about just being real stingy. So that was
fucking idiot.
That was so fucking dumb. Like now you look at it and you're just like they probably were watching him on the ice like why were we so stingy? Actually, probably not. They're probably like he should have taken $5 less or something. They're probably just aggravated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it came with a lifetime supply of Little Caesars or something. But
oh god.
Yeah, I'd rather eat out of a fucking dumpster. That shit is awful. Oh man. So, but anyway, we're gonna bring back What the Puck, and I'm gonna give the honors. Let's let Dan go. Danny Boy go this week. We're gonna
right.
let him start with our second edition of What the Puck.
What the puck? Well, folks, I don't know if you can hear in the background, but my slut of a roommate is banging some music because he's got a girl coming over. So, that's my what the puck moment. Actually, it's not. My what the puck moment is.
But where specifically?
Where the girls?
Where specifically is the girl coming from?
She's coming from St. Cloud State
how is that a what
University. St.
Huh?
Cloud State University. That's where she's
All
coming
right.
from.
What's a good
Dan,
college hockey school?
Dan, we got to cut this one. We got to cut this part. You were supposed to say he's bringing like a Tinder bitch over.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Well, actually,
Fuck my roommate. He's trying to have sex. Like,
yeah, I know. Well, actually, St. Cloud State's known for like girls with STDs.
And
so-
I wouldn't get too specific about it. Like, St.
yeah,
Cloud
that's
State
true.
girl.
That's true. That's true. They're gross though.
All right. Do I need to reintroduce? Or
No,
what's the time? What's the time?
Um.
So Kevin can write it down. Then you're going to restart your part.
Okay, 45 minutes, 20 seconds.
All right, Kevin. So what you're going to do is leave my part, and then just when Dan restarts, you're just going to put that in. All right.
What am I doing?
Dan,
You're
just do this. My part leading into Dan was good, but
it's
then
my
just,
part. I fucked up my part, so just
All
I'm
right.
redoing my part.
Let me write a little note.
So I'll just
Yeah.
say, yeah, my what the puck moment is, and then go
and
into
then give the time when you're about
it. God,
to go.
I'm so fucking stupid. Sorry. 45 minutes, 53 seconds.
But don't say you're kidding. Just say you're kidding that that's your what the puck. Like you're not kidding that your roommate's.
Yeah,
trying
I'm
to-
not kidding that. Yeah.
All right,
Just in
hit
case
it.
anybody gets confused. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, folks. Well, I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but my slut of a hockey roommate is having a couple Tinder broads come over. He's been on it for about 2 months, and he finally got a girl to come over. So, he's pretty excited. He's got he actually has the cologne on. Our whole floor smells like cologne. It's fucking gross. So that is no, just kidding. That's not my what the puck moment. But that is actually happening right outside my door. My what the puck moment is the USA hockey jerseys. I don't know if you've seen them. They're fucking hideous. They're about as good as USA hockey has been in the past.
Got him.
Which is just fucking god awful. I don't know if you
Got
guys
him.
want to get down on the hockey jerseys in your opinion, but I think they're fucking atrocious. Like,
Well, they're all
stupid-
bad. They're all bad.
They are all bad. But
Nike,
like
Nike in general just shit their pants.
yeah, they
making
fucked
these.
up. They fucked
Canada's
up
look
Canada's.
like Canada's look bad. Yeah.
Yeah, but what makes USA so bad is the stupid like feather things coming down like the sleeve, and that's just like,
They're
what are
supposed to
you
be for the
doing?
bald eagle, right? That's
bald eagles,
done
bro.
they had.
Like, that's great, but the execution was just horrible. Like, shit.
One shade of blue, one shade of white, one shade of red.
There you go.
Isn't
It
there
ain't
only one
fucking-
shade of white though? Like, how can you fuck up white, right?
I don't know. You could just pick a cream or white.
Well, knowing
Whatever.
Nike, they'll find a way to fuck
Yeah.
it up, and they did.
Yeah.
So
it's-
that is my what the puck moment.
some yuppie's wet dream is those jerseys. That's for
Oh,
sure.
God.
Yeah.
Not mine. Not mine.
Yikes. All right. Well,
Yikes.
I'll go with mine. I don't really have much of a rant to go on. I'll save that for Nick. He's got a little bit of stuff on his mind, so I'll just say my what the puck is. I'm just gonna say it's Sidney Crosby. Being last in the league in points. This isn't. I'm not taking a shot at Sidney Crosby. Well, I
Last
guess
in the league
I
in
guess I
points.
kind of
I
am.
was gonna say,
not
yeah,
points,
you
fuck.
are.
Plus minus. God damn it.
Get
Anyway,
your shot in. Go.
The green jacket.
yeah, he's currently got the green jacket. Or no, he's tied with. Oh fuck, he's tied with someone else on the Penguins. Fuck, I don't know, but
Ryan Reeves. Let's just say it's Ryan Reeves.
okay. But yeah, like if you're supposed to be the best player in hockey, he'll probably turn it around, but like it's just kind of surprising. This is a pretty sizable amount of games, what, like 16, 17. Being last in the league in plus minus, just being a difference maker that you are on the ice, being dead last in the league is pretty fucked up.
Yeah, it's surprising as shit, isn't it? I mean,
Or he just stinks. I don't know.
okay,
See.
okay. You just like declaring people dead or that they stink. It's just we all know Sid is going to right the ship, and the Penguins are going to right the ship, and any team's going to have a bitch of a time beating them in the 7-game series, just like the last 2 years where no one could do it. So, but yeah, I agree. That's Dan. Any thoughts on the Gwins there or Crosby?
Crosby, I hope he stays at the bottom. I know he's not going to, but I'm just like Kevin. I don't like him. Yeah, he'll figure it out. And the Penguins will figure it out. When, I don't know, probably soon. Certainly you're going to pray soon if you're a Penguins fan, but the longer he stays down there, the better for me. Makes me happy. So Anyway.
Yeah. Well, as much as you guys hate him, you guys, I'm sure, respect him and what he's done for the league. Yeah. So that's interesting. All right. My what the puck moment. It's a little, I'm sorry. I have to stay local on this one. I've mentioned before, we do like to talk about the Blackhawks, the Let Me Be Frank blogs, obviously, from Chicago. We're all Chicago guys. We try to cover the rest of the league as much as possible. We did a little bit of a rant on it at the end of the podcast, a little bit of Blackhawks talk, but the what the puck moment for me is Stanley Bowman, the general manager of the Chicago Blackhawks. Sir, what were you thinking when you constructed this defense? What did you think was going to happen? The Blackhawks have so many issues right now in the blue line. I'm going to get a little heavy on breath here, all right? So I got a lot on my mind on this one. So if you look at first of all, their power play is awful. Okay, just awful. That's been a huge problem in the playoffs, the regular season. The past couple years, it killed them in the St. Louis series a couple years ago. Their power play was just awful. Okay, and obviously they couldn't score against Nashville. Not having not bearing power play chances obviously hurts there. So, as recently as a couple days ago, they were 27th in the league. Okay, the elite power plays in the NHL right now, I feel like they all have an elite quarterback, and I'm not saying Stan Bowman could have gone out and gotten one of these guys, but the elite power plays in the league, you've got the Hedmans, Doughties, Carlsons, Burns, Petrangelo, all these guys on the back end that can drift the puck and make good passes and get pucks through. The Blackhawks don't have a single guy on the blue line that can drift the puck or get the puck through consistently. Cody Franzen is seeing power play time. This is a guy that was a training camp invite. The Blackhawks get used and abused through the neutral zone. They have no speed. Keith and Seabrook, I think, are 34 and 31 right now, respectively. Seabrook's in the first year of an 8-year deal. And they're still both, good players, but they're at the end of their primes or exiting right now. Okay. And they're still getting the same assignments and they're still playing heavy minutes. The Blackhawks defense has no speed, no depth, and almost zero offensive capabilities. And that just doesn't win in this NHL. There's so much, there's just so many guys that can skate now. And there's so many guys they're potent that you need depth and you need speed. And I have literally no fucking idea what Stan Bowman was thinking coming up with this defense group. A lot of people look at the Hjalmarsson trade. He's not playing well in Arizona. But the Connor Murphy trade, kind of stinks to high hell. So that trade is unfortunate, but I know you guys have some stuff to say on it too. But I mean, this Blackhawks defense, they get little production, from the blue line offensively. They can't clear the crease. They can't run a power play. They can't quarterback a power play. They can't skate through the neutral zone, and they're not overly physical. They're just a bad bunch of defensemen. And what that does is it puts an insane amount of pressure on your forwards and Corey Crawford because, your defense is barely giving you a chance to win. So it puts a lot of pressure on an offense and the goaltending. So the Blackhawks just kind of got out of an offensive slump here the past couple games. And that was because when you're struggling a little bit, it can definitely screw with you mentally because, you got to go out there and score 4 or 5 goals every night. Bad shit's going to happen. It's not a recipe for success. And they have limited cap space, because they spend to the ceiling. So Stan Bowman's going to have a hell of a time here. Going to have to try to get a top 4 defenseman because they don't get a top 4 defenseman. They ain't going anywhere this year. That's my rant. That's my what the puck. Stan Bowman, what the fuck were you thinking bringing this defense group into the regular season?
Yeah, wow. That was a mouthful for sure.
I'm
sorry. It just had to be said. I
just nailed it.
Spot on, yeah.
There's nothing more to say. That was pretty much it.
That was
fucking brutal.
That was one of the biggest problems I noticed in the Nashville series is just like time after time we'd have Seabrook and Keith throwing these stretch passes to try to get through the neutral zone. Never worked. Nashville set up that neutral zone trap, and we could not get through it for the life of us. It was so frustrating.
Stubbornness. It's stubbornness. The Blackhawks are a lot of the forwards are finesse guys, and they refuse to dump the puck in and go get it themselves.
Yeah.
So Nashville's just putting 4 guys on the blue line, saying, "We dare you to throw it in and go around us."
And that's just the way that the NHL is now. Like, you need a puck moving defenseman, someone that can score, someone that can skate. Hawks have neither.
Keith was that guy, but he's 34. You can't expect him.
Exactly.
You can't expect him to be the 2015 guy anymore. Okay, like that's not going to happen again.
And Seabrook too.
Mm-hmm.
The guy, they're older and they have the same assignments, and they don't have the depth behind them to spare many minutes now. And yeah, the depth guys just aren't good. I mean, you've got a guy who
supposed to be? Is he supposed to be like a
I don't know.
Big body? He's supposed to be yeah. That's the worst.
He didn't save him any cap space either.
It was it was like just marginal cap space, I would say.
Oh, it was like no more than about 150,000 or so.
Yeah.
It wasn't much.
That's stability too, but that doesn't make it any better of a trade. He stinks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's unfortunate.
His mom's really hot though. I don't know if you saw. He's got a really hot mom.
Does he? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And on that note.
Yeah. On that note, a little milk and cookies. But yes. All right. So, should we pause it and then wrap it up somehow?
Yeah.
What time?
Kevin, time is 56 minutes, 37 seconds.
Not bad. I just said milk and cookies.
I know you did. That was fucking beautiful.
Yeah, fuck.
That was a total like.
I'm gonna share that video.
That was a beautiful fucking rant, by the way.
That was
grade A stuff right there.
Why did DC gamble the Panthers 19.5?
I don't know. He
Stupid
was gambling just to gamble.
We have a squad issue.
That's when you know you're addicted. You're like, I need to risk some money right now.
Well, if you got it, you got to spend it. Well, he literally has to bet. All right. Do we want to wrap up with anything? Are there any good feel-good stories in the league? Anything?
I have nothing, personally.
Yeah, I got nothing either. I'm trying to find this video of Connor Murphy's mom. I'll share it.
Oh, man.
Can't you just Twitter search it?
The Blackhawks tweeted it out, so I just have to scroll through their feed. When the fuck was it? What was that?
What? Is there any NHL stuff? There's got to be something we can talk about. Yeah, I just went on a nice Blackhawks rant. Felt good.
Come on, where is it? They tweet a lot.
Oh,
Blackhawks.
Oh, should we do? Is this it for Anthony Niemi? He got waived again.
Oh yeah, he sucks.
Okay, all right. Do you want to just shit on Anthony Niemi and just end the podcast? I'll say, does anyone have anything before we go, and someone can bring up the Anthony Niemi thing?
Fuck yeah, I found it.
Oh my God, did you post it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wait, you think his mom's hot?
Just watch the video. God, his dad looks like a fuck too.
What's up, Nicole?
Yeah, right.
She's foxy.
Uh-huh. Too bad she birthed a fucking loser.
Oh my God.
We better cut all this part out. It's gonna be a very creepy part if Bartman doesn't edit properly.
All right, let's wrap it up.
All right. So I'll go. Is that all right? Give Bartman the time.
You need the time? Yeah, 1 hour, 37 seconds.
Got it, Kev?
Yep.
All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay. So, does anybody have anything before we wrap up today's episode? Any other tidbits around the league or anything interesting hockey related that either of you guys want to share?
Yeah. This one kind of hits home for us. Antti Niemi just got waived.
Again?
Yeah. How they
no.
fallen. Wow.
So the Penguins and the Panthers, right, have now waived him this year?
Dude, it was
Jeez
all over.
Louise.
It was all over when he tripped coming out of the locker room against the Hawks. You know that?
Poor fucking dude.
Oh, man.
Oh man.
Wow. The rebound machine. Damn.
Yeah.
So it's got to be Russia, right? Like, he's not going to get claimed again.
Fuck, I don't know. Coyotes? Who knows?
We're so mean to the Coyotes, man.
Yeah, we are. It's just because it's easy. It's easy.
Yeah.
I know. At least it's a good thing no Arizona fans can hear us because they don't exist. But classic podcast maneuver, trying to gain a following and just alienate a fan base. So no, I'm kidding. I mean, there's a lot of loyal Coyote fans, but we just mess around with them because, damn it, Arizona. That's the problem. First of all, I stutter every time I say their name because I forget it's not Phoenix. So I go Arizona, the Arizona Coyotes. You keep Tippett about 4 years too long. Damn, Dan's favorite coach.
Yeah.
And then you make
Great guy.
a bunch of random trades for veterans, and then you still stink. So, but yeah, Antti Niemi, man, 2010 Cup winner, had some solid years in San Jose, and went to Dallas, got another pretty big contract, and then now he's gotten waived twice this year. You got to wonder if his NHL days are numbered. Might just have to go to the KHL. Maybe if he can go over there and prove himself
Get
again,
his
he can come back.
confidence
But,
back or something.
yeah, crazy. Man, as I just remember a couple of years ago, or it might have even been last year, with Niemi and Lettinen and Dallas, they were getting paid like $10 million combined.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I was trying to think of the other. It was, Lightning.
The dude, life comes at you fast. He went from like getting like $4 or $5 million a year to like getting waived twice in like 2 weeks. Like, life comes at you fast.
That's quite a fall from grace right there.
Yeah. But I hope he lands back on his feet somewhere. I'm rooting for the guy. Did great for us. So
Yeah.
we joke around a little bit, but I mean, it's the dude's livelihood, and
Absolutely.
So hopefully he lands on his feet somewhere. But just some personal speculation. He could end up in the KHL, and one team that I don't really follow the KHL all that closely, but with Jokerit being in the KHL now in Finland, and Niemi being a Finnish goaltender, I mean, maybe that's a place where he goes. He can kind of go play some of the latter years of his hockey career back home in Finland. People may remember him getting his first career win as an NHL player in Finland with the Blackhawks when the Hawks started their 2010 year over there. So, we'll see what happens with Niemi, but that's crazy that he's gotten waived twice so quickly. But anything else, boys, or
we got to close up shop for this week.
Good.
Yeah, I think that's everything.
Boys, thank you for joining, and folks at home, thank you for listening. If you guys could help us out with a, subscribe, rate it, leave us a comment. Our DMs are open at GWTF Podcast. Hopefully we're going to be able to blog some more, just, personal, writing some hockey stories on Let Me Be Frank blog, if we have time to do that. So we just would love to hear feedback about what you guys would love to hear. I think we've enjoyed the couple times we've done the What the Puck segment, and I'm going to try to keep recruiting guests, but we're in the early stages of our little podcast project here. So we're going to keep working on some stuff and keep trying to get better, and we'll see what happens. But boys, thank you again for joining me, and we'll see you guys next week. So talk to you later.
Sounds good. See you later, fellas.